it is concha nasalis inferior. Then this bone, lacrimal bone, it is on middle side of orbiter and lateral side of lateral wall of nasal cavity. Then labyrinth of admate bone. Then lamina perpendicularis of palatine bone and pterygate process, or more better, lamina medialis of pterygate process of sphenoid bone. Give me a piece of paper or copybook, please. Copybook, give me copy. Okay. Can I draw here? Can I draw here? It is not necessary to draw for you, only for your understanding. That is nasal cavity, nasal cavity. It is septum, septum nasi. Superior, that is lamina cribrosa. It is crista galli. It is labyrinth of admate bone, cletis. And labyrinth of admate bone has concha nasalis
inferior and superior.
Superior, concha nasalis
Inferior.
medial. And another bone is concha nasalis inferior. It's attached to maxilla. Space between concha nasalis inferior and floor of nasal cavity, that is meatus nasi inferior. Space between middle concha and inferior, that is meatus nasi medius. And space between superior concha and middle, that is meatus nasi superior. Superior nasal meatus, middle nasal meatus, and inferior nasal meatus. And you need to answer next time what opens into superior nasal meatus, what opens into middle nasal meatus, and what opens into inferior nasal meatus. For example, superior nasal meatus, here it is, we have a foramen sphena palatinum. The same here it is sinus sphenoidalis, and posterior cells of admate bone. Cellular admetalis posterior. That is in superior nasal meatus. In middle nasal meatus, we have sinus maxillaris, sinus frontalis, and anterior and middle cells of admate bone. Cellular admetalis, anterior and middle. And inferior nasal meatus, here it is canalis nasolacrimalis open. Cletis. I think that next time I give you written test. For example, one variant will write walls of the orbiter. For example, superior wall, and you need to write consists of pars orbitalis of frontal bone and ala minor of sphenoid bone. Lateral wall, facies orbitalis of zygomatic bone, facies orbitalis of greater veins of sphenoid bone, and small part of zygomatic process of frontal bone, and so on. And all openings which opens into the orbiter, or openings which opens into fossa pteryga palatina, cletis, or walls of nasal cavity, superior, inferior, lateral, middle, and what opens into superior, middle, and inferior nasal meatus. And you will write written test. Clear? The questions?
So can you show me the
Vomer? Vomer is between crista sphenoidalis superiorly and crista nasalis of palatine bone inferiorly. That is vomer here. This lamina bony plate which is between here and here, that is vomer. Posteriorly vomer, anteriorly lamina perpendicularis of admate bone. What else? That is all.